Hello, all. I'm your host, Rodimus Prime. It is Friday, May 27th, 2022. I hope you have something fun and excited planned for Memorial Day weekend. Today, we're going to be doing something special. I'm going to be giving my review and my recap of the first episode of the new Disney Plus series, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that officially dropped today. We're going to be doing a look back, kind of see what's happened so far, see what's been set up. I am going to be recapping and giving my thoughts, so there will be spoilers in this. But please, as always, stay through, see what you think, and all right, let's get into it. One thing I will say from the very beginning of this that you should do immediately is watch the recap that they have put together at the beginning of the episode. The folks at Disney Plus knew that there may be some people who have never seen the prequels. As such, they did a montage of the events leading up to where the story is now. As I was watching this, the way it was edited and the way the soundtrack was used gave the events real weight and almost new emotion for what we were about to experience. One thing I will say is that from the very beginning of this episode, it's like most Star Wars projects. There is a soundtrack that's phenomenal that just adds that little bit of something extra to the story and to the scope of what is actually going on. The episode starts with a group of younglings practicing force training. They are then attacked by stormtroopers and the Empire, and we cut to black as we hear in the background, "Execute Order 66. This helps to set up the timeline and allows us to be slotted into a proper spot in the Star Wars universe. We then cut back out of black to Tatooine, and then 10 years later flashes across the screen. We then see shots of a market, and all of a sudden an ominous spacecraft appears above the market. As it lands, you detect the air of fear from the market goers. When it lands and opens up, we are introduced to the antagonists of this story, the Grand Inquisitor, the third sister Reva, and the fifth brother. They say they are looking for a Jedi and end up finding one at a local saloon. One thing I will say that the showrunners did that was really excellent is to show how cruel and menacing the Inquisitors are. From the onset of their introduction, you get a sense of fear from everybody who's around them, and they feel very terrifying. So I have to give props to the showrunners for that. We then pan to a factory on Tatooine and come to an assembly line and find the main character of our story, Obi-Wan, living a quiet, normal life. But this is definitely not the same Obi-Wan. He seems down, defeated, almost depressed, and doesn't seem to be following the ways of the Jedi currently. In some ways, and I don't know if this was intended, but it seems like Obi-Wan has PTSD. He is having night flashbacks and dreams of the past, and it is waking him up, and he doesn't seem to have the will to fight. Obi-Wan ends up buying what seems like a toy and leaves it for young Luke the next day. At this point, we already see some of Anakin and Luke as he is pretending to fly a cruiser, goggles and all. After he drops off the toy, he heads for home where he encounters the Jedi from the saloon who recognizes him and asks him for help. Obi-Wan looks at him, says stay hidden, walk into the desert, and bury your lightsaber in the ground, and the time of the Jedi is over. We then pan to the Organas and a young Leia getting ready for the day. She is quite ambitious and a handful and has run off to the forest to look at ships with her small robot friend Lola. Her mother finds her and takes her home, and then we see someone watching Leia from the shadows. We then return to Tatooine, where Owen finds and confronts Obi-Wan about the toy he left for Luke. Then the Inquisitors appear, looking for the Jedi. You can definitely tell at this point in the episode that Obi-Wan is just plain defeated. Instead of actually confronting the Inquisitors, he's hiding, he's scared, and he just seems like he's overall defeated, and he doesn't do anything to confront them when they are looking for the Jedi. After the Inquisitors locate nothing in the market, we then pan to a scene of infighting between the third sister and fifth brother, which could signal a divide between the two later on in the series, but we will have to wait and see. One thing that has been presented is that the third sister is obsessed with finding Obi-Wan, and when asked why by the fifth brother, she replies, so that she can get what she is owed. We then return to Leia, and she is seen with her father and mother, Bail and Breha, waiting to greet her uncles and aunts and cousins. Leia is seen at a table next with her cousin, and her cousin makes fun of her for being nice to droids, and she proceeds to dress him down in one of the best ways possible, and he responds by saying that she is not an Organa and never will be. We then see her and her father having a heart-to-heart talk, and he reveals to her that she will always be an Organa, and one day the people of her world will need her. She then runs off to the forest where she is intercepted by the shadowy figure who has been watching her. His name is Vect, and he is played by the Red Hot Chili Peppers Flea. After a chase sequence, Leia is captured and taken to Vec's ship. Not too much is known about Vect, but we may learn more in the future. We then return to Tatooine, and Obi-Wan receives a call from Leia's family begging him to go after Leia. Obi-Wan tells them to find someone else, and it is truly at this point we realize Obi-Wan has lost his way. Obi-Wan then returns to the market and sees the Jedi from earlier hanging dead, after which he heads home and is greeted by Bail Organa, who pleads with him for one more fight to save Leia. Back on Vec's ship, we see a hollow conversation between Vec and the third sister saying that Obi-Wan will come and he will hunt himself. This next part of the episode I loved, as it was a callback to the beginning of the episode when Obi-Wan originally encountered the Jedi. We see him travel to the middle of the desert, pull out a shovel, and start digging. He then pulls out a container, with which inside is his cloak and his lightsaber. We finally come to an end of our first episode, with Obi-Wan going to a spaceport and paying for a transport, presumably to go find Leia. As he pulls back his cloak to get the credits, we see the lightsaber holstered at his side. He walks up to the cruiser, and as with every Star Wars movie / show ending, we cut to credits. Overall, this first episode set up our story perfectly. We had our heroes, we had our villains, and it was all neatly wrapped in a well-written package. I am excited to see where this journey goes, and my only gripe about the show is that it is only 6 episodes. This gave me goosebumps from the very beginning, and I am super excited to see where it goes. I would easily give the first episode of Kenobi a 5 out of 5. But alright, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. As always, these are my opinions. You don't have to agree with them, but I thank you for staying through the entirety of the video. If you could do me a favor and please like the video and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And as always, I will see you guys on Monday.